here it is again with a different description of the wheel. Up here you have Revati and Ashvini. Pisces and Aries. Water and fire. Same thing down here and same thing down here. 3 different ones. It's the same image as this one. Same image. Except I'm trying to make this is a sharper image. So here you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you have the 9. But in the 9, you also have 1, 2, 3, 4. So just like the water nakshatras, just like the water signs, you have Pusha in Cancer, and that went to Pisces up here. The term went to Pisces. Let me lower this a bit. Okay. You have Pusha down here, and they took Pusha and took it to Pisces. For the general populace, for the general uninitiated to consume. In Scorpio, you have Anuradha, and Anuradha, they took that word and made it Andromeda, an upper house of Pisces. With the water signs, or a water sign cycle, and what they did was they took words from other ones and moved it into the current age, to Pisces, in order to recycle the same invocations, the same words. They recycle the words. They took Pusha, which is a Saturn-based nakshatra, and brought it into Pisces. So every time you talk about Pisces, you're invoking Saturn. Same thing with Anuradha. With Anuradha, you bring it into Pisces as Andromeda, basically covering Revati. So you brought 2 different Saturn energies up here, and what they're doing is they're in the water cycle, because this is a water cycle in the nakshatra system. This water cycle, they are invoking, they are recycling the same invocations to the current age. They're recycling the same invocations so that you say it, so that you're saying Andromeda when you're aiming it at the wrong place. Andromeda should be down here in Scorpio, according to the old Vedic system. And this is the system that they all came from. But with the fire signs, because the progression of the ages goes backwards. Okay, we're going from Pisces into Aquarius, but we came from the Aries era, the Aries age of Moloch and Baal worship. And what they did was they actually brought imagery over here. They brought Ketu energy over specifically because water brings importance to what you want. Water brings importance, as I showed in the previous video, as I showed you 2 examples in the previous video. And there's another book I have. I have this book. I read this in my local library years ago when I was researching narco activity. Basically fresh out of school. I was curious about that kind of stuff. Smuggling and how things get smuggled into this country. But I found this book, and at the beginning, in the prologue, basically on page 1, it begins, the priest considered his offerings. Would the gods be pleased? The priest did not think so. Yes, the sacrifice had been made as the ancient laws required. Cigar smoke and rum to summon the 7 powers. And then a few animal descriptions, and of course, a human life ended now. A man raped, battered and sliced, his heart torn, beaten from his chest, his blood still draining into a clay pot. And then he goes another paragraph before saying, except he had not screamed, and that was the problem. It was important that the offering die in confusion and pain, and most of all, in fear. A soul taken in violence and terror could be captured and used by the priest. turned into a powerful, angry servant that would wreak horrible revenge on the priest's enemies. This was the essence of his witchcraft, the dark heart of his religious palomayombe. It's the same thing. You're invoking profundity. You're invoking you're invoking the strength of the emotion in order to capture a moment. But that capturing a moment in dark magic involves capturing the spirit of the person. It locks them into you, whereas laughter frees you. I often say to people, especially to my son, I say, if he's laughing, he's learning. Unfortunately, I gave him too much Bert and Ernie. Unfortunately, I gave him too much early Bert and Ernie, so he's kind of that's what he learned. So water is profundity. But unfortunately, they want you to think like Spock. When Spock is from a volcano world they want you to think of no emotion, even though you're in a volcano world, while they bring you pain. Well, what the ancient trick that they used was this with the ram. They put Aries as the first house, okay, as a ram, and the only reason they put Aries as the first house, they're focusing on Aries as the first house. Now, why is Aries the first house? Because of the story of Lord Ram.
Rama is representative, or we can even say an embodiment of what this culture stands for. This is a culture where we don't count the value of accumulations one has. We don't count one's achievements in the world, nor do we count one's victories in war. But the most important dimension is how profound is the freedom that one has achieved within themselves. What is your level of mukti in your life? How profound is your freedom from variety of things that a human being can be afflicted with? So if you look at Rama's life, he lost his kingdom. His kingdom was taken away, though he was rightfully coronated as a king. His wife was taken away. Later in his life, his children were taken away. Normally for most human beings, if any one of these things happen, they will be broken for life. But here is a man, though all these things happened, and he stood up to do the karma that he has to do, even to the extent of fighting battles, but never conquered by angst or animosity or anger. It is for this reason that we are bowing down to him. He is not a super success, it's a series of disasters. In spite of this disastrous life, the negativity cannot conquer him. He is free from these things. It is this one quality for which we are bowing down to him, because in this culture, our ultimate goal is not God, our ultimate goal is not heaven, our ultimate goal is mukti or moksha. Liberation or freedom is the highest goal in our lives. This is the significance of who we are in this culture.
Aries is a ram.
Rams are male sheep that are known for their large horns and aggressive behavior. One of their most common behaviors is headbutting, which they do for a variety of reasons. Rams headbutt for 4 reasons: to assert dominance, defend territory, attract mates, and build muscle. The force of the headbutt can be quite strong, and it can cause injuries such as broken horns or concussions.
Dude, I think he knocked you out.
So the reason they chose the ram as the first sign is because as Ashwini faces the challenges, I am challenged, therefore I am. An eye for an eye, or an eye for an I am. An injury for an I am. And they give us the imagery of the ram. While Rama, and with his magical arrows that return to his quiver every time he casts it, they return because they are a symbol of his continuing karmas that he can't get rid of. But he faces the challenge. Rama accepts his challenges gracefully. He did not complain. As a godly figure, he did not complain. The Hercules of a more peaceful people, or a people told to be peaceful, he did not complain. Instead, he saw them as a duty in a larger picture. This creates karma. It does not answer karma. If we change the ram to a Rama, then the calf fed in Revati Nakshatra, has the nourishment and is not wasted. Aries is of transformation, especially for a Virgo ascendant. Aries is Virgo's 8th house, transformation house. Virgo is the twin nakshatra, is the dual nakshatra, where you are the second person to the energy coming in. You are the twin in Virgo, healthy or not, virgin or whore of Babylon. Then this is what you're going to do. Do you want to live? You can choose to live like this, which is what they want you to do, or you can choose, or you can choose to walk through fire, knowing who you are. Of course, you need astrology. You need someone to guide you through this. Otherwise, you're totally blind. You need someone to tell you why you're here. Someone who can read the planets. We're all here differently.
Is a big part of that 4th house element, where divine weapon is used to either harm or rescue or save. And it's all in the heart. It's all in the battleground, is all in the deeper level of the mind, not even in the intellectual level, but the deep level of the mind. I mean, Ram is one of the only avatars that deals with depression. It actually mentioned that. It's mentioned that he's depressed.
You can walk through fire, but still keep who you are. Because the symbol of the ram, there's a reason why the ram is worshipped as an animal totem. Ram is the Hebrew resh, the head, and the mem is the body, the water in the body. This is head to water. But this head to water, they give us this symbol for Aries as a ram, when it should be this symbol as Rama. Instead, here we are, headbutting, working ourselves to death as someone else's value, using someone else's symbols on someone else's dole.